Princess Eugenie took to Instagram to share the exciting news, coming 2 years after Meghan and Prince Harry signed a multi-year deal with Spotify to produce exclusive audio content and podcasts. The youngest daughter of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson announced in a post published on Wednesday morning her charity, the Anti-Slavery Collective, is launching its new podcast. The weekly program is titled Floodlight and will host an array of guests discussing modern slavery and how to put an end to it. Princess Eugenie is co-hosting the podcast with her close friend Julia de Boinville, who co-founded with her The Collective, an organization aiming to raise awareness of modern slavery and find ways to end it. Judy James, a voice and speech analyst, spoke exclusively to Express.co.uk about Eugenie's delivery on the podcast. She said, "Eugenie's voice, words and delivery are something of a revelation in this podcast. Firstly, there is her apparent determination to keep her royal status as low-key as possible. Critics often accuse Eugenie and her sister Beatrice as being very aspirational in terms of their place in the royal pecking order. But, given the opportunity and excuse to turn this into a profile-boosting vanity exercise, Eugenie opts to appear more as a normal member of the public, with no title-waving or name-dropping," the expert noted. Princess Eugenie referred to herself as just Eugenie, as opposed to a royal princess. Judy expanded on what this revealed about Eugenie's personality. She continued, "I'm Eugenie" is her intro, thrown in quickly and modestly after her colleague has introduced herself. Her techniques seem to ensure there is no time for any ta-da pauses that might assume her audience might need time to assimilate her fame and her arrival at the mic. Her voice is deep and pleasantly husky, and it dips in tone after she says her name to avoid any celebrity-style big-ups. Overall she sounds experienced but also low-key and calm, and therefore very unlike the other high-profile royal podcaster, Harry, Judy claimed. She added, "Eugenie and Harry have been shown to have close links, but there is nothing in Eugenie's podcast to suggest she has used Harry and Meghan as mentors. While they focus on sounding high-profile and celebrity, using their royal titles and a much more personally entertaining style of delivery with mentions of their children to flesh out the sense of a list clout, Eugenie just slots herself in with the other women on the podcast. If you didn't know you were listening to a princess, you would probably never guess," Judy said. "What words does Eugenie use frequently throughout the podcast?" Judy commented, "Eugenie peppers her speech with verbal fillers, saying, you know, to sound hesitant and inclusive, and sort of, to sound less rehearsed and more colloquial. Rather than pushing herself into the spotlight here, she uses the word, we, repeatedly, and when she introduces Caroline Hawkey QC, she lowers herself further as she describes the great privilege of working with her and being mentored. There is a moment when Eugenie dips her toe into the world of Harry speak as she speaks of a desire to change the planet. But she makes clear, constructive points about how everyone can help the cause. She refers to the collective, and after a very down-to-earth reference to the fact that they don't want to reinvent the wheel, she describes how their cause is shared with other charities. How does this compare to Prince Harry's podcast? Judy said, Harry's very personal missions lead him to speak like a superhero at times, even saying he is worried about burnout as he works to make the world a better place. But Eugenie seems to prefer a team or a collective approach where everyone can do their part.